All right.
Wait for Mike's. Your Skype thing moved my way. Okay. Mike's going hot in 3, 2.
Creativity Wasted is a podcast where 3 or 4 comedians or creative people each share a creative idea, such as a movie idea, app idea, or a futuristic tech idea. The idea can be funny or serious, well thought out or improvised, realistic or ridiculous. But we'll have fun talking and joking about it. I'm comedian Seth Addison.
I'm comedian Pat Siebert, the Laugh Rustler.
My name is Josh Courtney.
I'm your host, Tom Walma. This is Creativity Wasted. Okay, who wants to go first with their idea?
I'm sitting right here. I can do it.
Go ahead.
Okay. I brought a movie idea for you, Tom. I hope you like it. Are you a fan of like a mockumentary kind of filmmaking?
I guess so. I've never seen This Is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with
Scream,
it.
This is Spinal Tap.
I've always loved the movie This Is Spinal Tap. I just think it needs to be updated a little bit, and I'd like to be the guy that does it. I've for a long time wanted to do a cheap, low-budget short film of a Spinal Tap-esque type of band, except a more updated, heavier, realistic, colder black metal band. Except the only catch is that it's only one guy, and the band doesn't really exist much.
Is that because so you can do it?
Yeah, just me. I just wanted to be me on camera, stumbling around. I have no other band members.
None of your friends are good enough for camera. Your friends are all ugly or something?
Just me, and it's a band that's never played
Seth,
a show.
Come on.
Well, Pat, I'm gonna have a scene with band auditions. You can come in and audition for drums.
Pat
Okay.
could be the manager or something.
Oh yeah, I've got a good scene idea for a manager interview. But the rough idea is just this one guy stumbling around making excuses for why he doesn't have any band members or he's never played a show, and it just the luck doesn't turn out for him. It's also real close to, if anyone's ever seen the movie Anvil, Story of Anvil. It's a real life Canadian heavy metal band that just couldn't catch a break and have been struggling but continue to exist for like 35 years. But the luck just never turns in their favor.
So in this movie, you said it is a struggling band. It's not based on a fake real band.
No,
It's more of a documentary than a mockumentary in that aspect.
Yeah, except I don't have no intention of actually starting this band. I would like to call it The Legend of Blade Cunt. Don't worry if you're concerned about cursing. I spell it with a K, so it's safe.
Okay.
And yeah, just me trying
It's
to.
just the guy that acts like he's a band. It's like John Roderick goes around as the Long Winters, and you're like, it's just one dude, not a band. But
Yeah. He's just like so hard to work with that like he has no band members anymore. They've all just left him.
Yeah, I want it to be like his new band after his previous band failed, but the previous band also never played a show. We can have some quick cuts to previous band members complaining about him, like, yeah, man, we could never get the guy to play a show.
Have you ever been in a band?
yeah, we had a killer flyer.
And we had a great
He's
flyer.
like musically illiterate.
He kind of comes from a grindcore band that they're like, we booked a bunch of shows all in a row. You know, we're always getting booked on these basement garage shows, but every time he showed up, he said it was too dark in there to play. The guy never take his sunglasses off. And just a lot of failed attempts at a show, but none ever actually happening.
Have you ever played in a real band?
No, I've never been in a band. I have no intention of being in a band. I don't play any instruments either. That's why I want to make this, because I don't play anything.
Air guitar?
Yeah, I look like a guy that would be in a band, and I have so many people come up and ask me, like, oh, you got to be in a band. I got so sick of trying to convince them that I wasn't. I just started making up fake band names. Like, yeah, I'm in Blade Cunt. Google our demo, and then they walk away happy. Because I just got tired of trying to convince people I wasn't in a band.
So you're not hoping you're going to be discovered like that movie Rockstar that was based on a real story, but your story would be good?
Yeah. I always talk about our
Yeah.
underground fan base. This because a lot of metal bands really do like build like weird fan bases and only have one demo and never played a show, but for some reason there's people out there that think they're the coolest band in the world. I'm just gonna try to make it one of those bands.
Oh yeah. Like in Spinal Tap when he was trying to get the the meats to match the size of the breads, and like he was just such a diva. Just like the idea of like he's what's left of the band because nobody else could take him anymore. And ironically, he can't play any instruments, but we'll never know that because he can never do a show.
But you're playing. So in real life, you're not the failed band member, the pathetic guy who is making excuses. You're not that guy,
No.
but you're playing that guy.
Hey, it's gonna be a character.
Okay, so it's not 100%
Too
based on your real life.
No, I'm just gonna make a bunch of stuff up.
So you're going to
Yeah.
humiliate
That's
yourself
not a
on
loser who Can't
purpose
commit to things.
Yeah, for other people's entertainment.
for other people's entertainment, and they're not going to be able to. Kind of like Andrew Dice Clay, where it's people aren't going to be able to tell what's the real Seth and the fake Seth.
Oh yeah, I want people to. I want to make this thing, and I want people to actually look up, see if they can find Blade Cunt demos, try to buy Blade Cunt merch.
Have you actually designed any Blade Cunt art?
That's I want that to be part of the movie. I want the guy always to be saying this is gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before. I need a logo that's like nothing you've ever seen before. But then he just compares it to a bunch of stuff that already exists. Gonna be a meeting with an artist. I'm like, I need a logo like totally new, like nothing that's ever been done. But it should have the cobwebs and the blood dripping off of it, just like the Death logo. Same thing for our sound. It's gonna be like the band sound is gonna be like nothing you've ever heard before. It's completely new, just like if like Tank mixed with classic Celtic Frost, except like nothing you've ever heard before, unless you've listened to those
Nothing you've ever
bands.
heard before,
That's an
you
actual
literally-
band?
You will literally never hear.
Classic Celtic Frost?
Well, just Celtic Frost, but their early years is considered the classic stuff.
That sounds like a what's it called? Doesn't sound like a metal band. It sounds like Enya or something.
No, they're actually pretty.
It does. Those guys aren't doing a cover of Return to Innocence like they're hard.
There was a band called Vast. You might know who they are. Visual Audio Sensory Theater. It's I think one guy, not unlike your idea. And he was on an Ozfest CD, Vast, but it was extremely not heavy metal, his music. It was, some of them sounded kind of like U2, and some of them had like new age chants and stuff in it. But for some reason it was on Ozfest. Have you heard of them?
No, I have not heard of them.
But I use that to prove that the music service Pandora is complete bullshit. So I thought, they say that they analyze the music using like computers to see like the undertones of the music and see what you'll like, and based on that. And so I thought, how do I prove that this is bullshit? How do I test them to see if it's legit or not? So I thought, what's a complete outlier? And that's what came to mind was Vast. So if they're going by the actual content of the music and I put Vast in Pandora, I should not get a bunch of Ozfest bands. I should get U2 and Enya and stuff that's actually musically similar. But if they're just going by related albums and like not analyzing the music at all, I'll get Ozfest stuff. And that's what I got. So I think Pandora is just a marketing scam. At least
It really is. But you know what's a good Pandora trick is you never thumbs up a song. Never thumbs up. Only thumbs down the ones that you don't want to hear, but never thumbs up, because they take that and they like dick ride you. They like want to like please you so good. They just like keep playing the same song over and try it. Like get a channel and like thumbs up every song you like, and that's all you'll ever fucking hear. So only thumbs down what you don't like, and then a song you like, just leave it be, and then they'll just keep trying to scratch that itch. So they'll always keep trying to give you what you want to hear. Because I think it was Cake Radio, which Cake is kind of like a weird band. They're kind of in the middle of everything, and I accidentally, for some reason, they played like 3 Days Grace or some shit, and I thumbs up it on accident, and man, I heard like butt rock for the next like 2 days on this station. So I had to delete it, get rid of it.
Now, can you put a fake band on Pandora? So, like, similar artists to, what was it, your fake band name?
Blade Cunt.
Blade Cunt.
Yeah, I just wanted to recommend, if you like this band, you might also like Blade Cunt. We don't have any of their music, but we hear it's out there.
Pandora, see what they recommend. That'd be hilarious.
There's a website I use constantly called Heavy Metal Encyclopedia, and it documents every single heavy metal band that like anyone can update. People can edit it, kind of like Wikipedia, but I'd want to make them a page and see how long it takes to get flagged for not having anything under the discography at all.
Is it a lot of pieces?
Or you're going to have like one guitar strum. It's like 8 seconds.
Grammy, so there it is. That's it.
So, some bands have like cutesy names that they call themselves. Like, I'm thinking like Justin Bieber, they call themselves the Beliebers or something. I don't know if this applies to metal so much, but what would the Blade Cunt fans call themselves?
Oh, no. I haven't considered that. Like the Cunt Addicts?
Ouch my penises. Something to do with the blade cutting their penises.
Yeah, that would work.
Damaged
dicks.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun way to get circumcised.
That actually wouldn't be a bad way to go. That's just, so it's kind of like killing 2 birds, 1 stone, especially if you were losing your virginity to a blade cunt.
Now I guess we have to do anals.
We have no choice.
I was liked about praying.
Are you on Skype, Josh? You're really patchy.
Oh, no.
Oh, now it's coming in. I couldn't hear
Okay,
a
maybe I
thing you
just,
said a minute ago.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of back and forth from you guys too. I apologize.
Can you repeat, or if you have something to say?
Oh no, I think it was just some random bullshit. I don't even remember. It's in the past. It's in the past.
Now, is there a plot to your movie? Like, how does it end?
I don't know. I'd like it to end with them being about to play their first show. At some point, I pick up some bandmates along the way. Just get guys. I want to like have audition processes where a bunch of people come in and play really well, but they don't look the part, so I don't hire them. And then a couple of dinguses that just look like me. And I'm like, this guy's perfect, but he also doesn't play any instruments. And we somehow book a show, and the movie will end right before we play the first note.
Okay. So you said you do air guitar.
Oh, yeah, I guess. If
There's a camera right there. Do you want to try to demonstrate your air guitar skills?
you can't do it silent. Just silent air guitar is it's just a weird miming that nobody wants to do.
We never told you had to be silent.
Kate, can you get some heavy metal music on that computer?
We're not doing it anyways, Tom.
Okay, never mind.
That's for the privacy
There's
of
not
my
much
own
room.
home. Air guitaring. It's something I do is quietly alone in the bathroom.
I got in the bathroom. Is it a metaphor for masturbating? Air guitar?
I think so.
It could be.
A lot of hot licks on the air guitar.
If you're that flexible, I guess. Okay. Anybody have anything else for Seth's idea?
You guys are all
Run with it,
invited.
man. Make it.
Yeah, you guys can come audition. It'll be fun. We'll use you as extras.
Yeah, I'd say you should make it. The only question I have is, are you going to try to be like the Spinal Tap guys and come back every decade and be like, hey, we're doing another song, or should you end it like Walk Hard, where you die at the end?
Oh, I didn't consider it a death. That could be a good
Ooh,
twist.
I like a good death. Yeah.
I have to write that in. It's gonna be mostly improv anyways, but I might block out a good death scene.
So when you get to the
Like
stage,
you die at the end, and you get like famous musicians to be like, yeah, they inspired me.
That's a great idea.
how about this? You get to the stage, you're about to perform. This is the very end of the movie. You rig a sandbag to fall on your head and kill you. So it's like people think it was gonna be the best thing ever, and you become a legend.
Yeah,
but,
the legend of Blade Cunt lives on forever.
yeah, but you never
Yeah.
actually knew how to play, but they don't know that.
Immortal.
I can get behind that idea.
Okay. Who wants to go next with their idea?
I can go next.
Okay.
All right. So, people listening at home, this is Pat Siebert. My idea is I'd call it a service, but probably has an app-based functionality. Let's say you want to make a life change because maybe you're like too into something that you feel is like destructive. You'll use this app to get somebody to come over and make you hate the thing you don't want to do anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So like they'll have to like you'll explain what the problem is. Someone will be like an expert in like getting people not to like something. Like we'll get people who like used to get people out of cults, or like we'll get a lot of old bullies from like middle school and be like, hey man, you know how you used to make fun of people because they like this band? Like you're gonna do that again now. And since you're smart and probably didn't do anything with your life now, like you're gonna be good at this. I was just thinking about it like when I was in my early 20s, I worked at a youth camp, and I was wearing a shirt from the video game Mega Man 2. Like I liked the shirt; it was cool. But this one camper was like, "Oh, you like Mega Man?" and just like would not leave me alone about it, and was telling me about like games I'd never played. Because like I stopped, like I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I couldn't swear because it was camp and he was a little kid. But at the end of that, I was like, I'm never wearing this shirt again.
So you were a
So I'm
camp
just like-
counselor who gave in to bullying by a kid, is what you're saying?
I guess it was not bullying. Like it was just like he annoyed me so much. I was like, I don't even like. I'm not gonna express that I like this. That I liked this game from when I was a kid.
I've had that happen to me before,
like-
though, where, yeah, like I share an interest with somebody that I don't really know that well. And then, like, 15 minutes
Mhm.
later, I'm like, how the hell do I get out of this interaction? I want nothing more than to hate this thing so I could just end
Yeah.
this. Just please end it.
Yeah, I think I'm one of those people. Everyone I've ever that's accidentally run into me at a bar wearing a Megadeth T-shirt, like like 50 minutes into a conversation, they would never want to listen to Megadeth again or hear anything about it, and they throw the T-shirt in the garbage on their way out while I'm trailing behind them.
Is that how you gain all of your Megadeth shirts?
I just bully people into realizing they're not as big of a fan of a band as I am until they give up.
Yeah.
Now,
So like, let's say I was like, hey, I like Megadeth, but I feel like I'm not getting into new music, and like I can't relate to people. Like you could come in and just talk to me so much about Megadeth, and I'm like, all right, I get it. I can throw this shit away now.
Yeah.
I found my one true reason.
On
It's like
day
Rick and
two,
Morty thing.
day two of me breaking down the artistic changes with the last album of Cryptic Writings on the classic lineup, started in 90 with Rust in Peace. But you can also discuss how the song Disintegrators was a tossback to the classic 85 sound off Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. And
okay, we get it.
And then nobody wants to ever listen
yeah,
to
I
Megadeth
already
again.
don't want to know more about this.
Yeah.
You're
I'll buy your services to not hear more of this conversation.
Would you use tools like hypnosis?
Yeah, I think maybe for like the really advanced cases, like maybe someone who like never got past like being a Star Wars super fan. You're like, dude, you gotta like be able to talk to people and not like live in your parents' basement. So yeah, you gotta go to this hypnosis thing. And I said dude because it's usually a guy. Like there aren't gonna be many chicks that would need that.
Yeah, this may be sexist, but I feel like girls don't tend to get into things like Star Wars, or there's no female equivalent to Star Wars where they just go in a hole. Maybe a few women will collect like hundreds of dolls or something, but that's not nearly as big of a thing for
like
women.
there are women who like those things, like Star Wars, Star Trek, stuff like that. But I think the stereotype is still like, a really fat guy wearing a shirt that's too tight, and yeah.
So, if let's say you fell in love with a woman who hates comedy, because we're all aspiring stand-up comics, or if Seth fell in love with somebody who hated metal and didn't want you to wear leather jackets and wanted you to cut your hair, like
that bullet belt, no more, Seth.
So
you should just fall out of love with someone like that, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at what point do you decide to just, instead of getting this service,
what if you had like a lease together? You got to at least stick it out a year.
Yeah, make an effort, Say, I'll try the service, and then if it doesn't work out, we're over.
Is the service reversible? Like, if it makes Seth hate metal and then the girl breaks up with him, then he's just staring at an empty wall with no posters on it, just crying alone. Can he get his metal love back?
Yeah, what's the fallout for this program looking like? Just a bunch of suicides.
There's got to be a reverse, like maybe within a year, come back and maybe
you need like a whoops button.
I don't know what.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, like a whoops button, or like they'll be like, oh, we made you hate doing comedy, Pat. So now we're gonna make you hate getting a good night's sleep and seeing friends. And
yeah, like normal.
Like shit if you're not funny. Yeah.
Just normal stuff.
So instead of, I'm confused. So what you're saying is, if they make you hate comedy, they can't give you the love of comedy back, but they can make everything else even worse than comedy. So then you like comedy again.
That's why we all started doing this in the first place.
Just lower the bar of life.
I guess I'm gonna have to.
Don't worry, we'll fix it.
Now.
Yeah, I definitely have some things that I could subscribe to that about. I would definitely like I said, Rick and Morty. If I could pay somebody to make me hate Rick and Morty, it's so hard to hate it. But
man, do you have Facebook?
I would pay a nominal fee to disassociate myself with those horrible trolls of their fandom. Get me out of there. Get me out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on Rick and Morty, but I don't know.
I've only seen one episode, but I've read a dozen articles about people hating the fans. I don't know why.
And it's almost like, I hate to even say this, but it's almost like Justin Bieber territory where, like, come on, guys. You all love at least one Bieber song. You don't like that you love it, but you love it. And you don't love what it means to say you like it, Like, to come out and say, I like this song kind of puts you in a net that is hard to escape from, and it's like you don't like to love the things that you love. But I would definitely, if I had enough money, I would pay Pat to make me hate things that I love.
Now let's say you fall in love with a married woman. Could you pay someone to make her not love her husband?
Oh, I think you can do that by yourself. I don't think you need anyone else to do that. Just live up there for 20 years, and then problem solved.
Can you order this service for someone else?
Like transfer services, or like I don't know about making other people change for you. Like that seems like that might be ethical. Like,
What if you're the thing that you want to hate?
Yeah, like can I? I think that would you'd make more money that way if I could order the service to like make my neighbor hate banging prostitutes at like 2:30 in the morning when I'm trying to sleep. I would send that service to him.
Like a Christmas present. Like, hey, I got you something.
You're gonna save some money.
Please use
yeah.
it.
I'm gonna help you out, man. I don't want you banging prostitutes. Like you're getting too old for that. Like,
Man, he is old too, and really, I wouldn't mind if.
I've also thrown. You could be. I'm also throwing in like you're gonna hate small talk, so we're never gonna talk out in the yard. And
So, to summarize, Pat Sievert, you just want to make people hate things. That's your legacy, is to spread hate.
to improve their overall lives, but yeah, I guess.
Hate for
I
love.
hate the Pat Sievert story.
That's what you should call this.
Something
Hate
like,
for
you know,
love.
Like you could be like, I want to lose weight, but I always fall on like I start eating fast food again. So I'm like, oh well, we'll make you hate like every fast food chain except like Hardee's because nobody lives near a Hardee's. Like,
Man, I had the worst experience at a Hardee's today, and it was a real bummer. It just I would that's a very practical use of your idea is fast food hate for sure.
I don't know how you would make people hate food. Like hide like semen in it or something. I don't think that would even work.
African.
I think
make you hate like processed food or something, so you're eating like salads and then your health will thank you.
I did.
It should be like in Canada with the cigarettes packages, the pictures. They should before you buy a double cheeseburger, you should have to watch like a 45-second video showing what they do to the animals and like how your burger got made. And you probably wouldn't make it on top of your list as far as where to go.
Maybe animal
or you
rights.
could like someone from the service could go with you to McDonald's and be like, those people want to make $15 an hour, and then they just keep telling you that as you're eating, and eventually you're just like, fine, fuck it, I don't care, I'm not gonna eat here anymore. Like,
that's not good enough for me.
What? I'm all for like a living wage for sure. Like let's be better with how we treat our society. But I was at Wendy's the other day, and there was a full-on almost like gang fight in the kitchen, and it escalated so bad. We thought that they were going to go to war. Like, there were so many, like, N-words thrown around, and, like, I'll kill you, I'll fight you, let's take this outside. No, let's take this out front. And, like, they're just screaming and shouting and F this, F that. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, can I get a 4 for 4? Is that possible? Like, it was just so uncomfortable. and then I got to sit there and be like, well, what does a burger made with hate taste like? It was I don't know, $15 an hour, maybe 12. Let's meet in the middle. I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think people should get a working wage, but I'm not willing to cook for 40 minutes every night in order to give to not eat fast food. Fuck that. I saw.
I love cooking for
like
myself.
chilies are better for me.
Yeah. There was I think it was Radiolab podcast where there's some tick that if you get bit, it makes you allergic to meat, certain types of meat.
Ooh.
Not all meat. Like
That
I
would
think
be
maybe
a tragedy if it happened, but hopefully I would adapt. Yeah.
But that might get you to not eat, to not love fast food. The allergic pustules that ooze out of your face or whatever happens to you.
Oh, yeah.
That might make you not want.
Yeah.
Or you might just endure
maybe the
it.
service should look into like breeding those ticks to be like, hey, hypnosis didn't work. Having a guy shame you while you ate it didn't work. Sit down in that chair right now. You're gonna get bit by a bunch of these ticks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like breed those ticks, farm them out, and then distribute them to the fattest places in America. Is that what we're talking about? No.
Yeah.
I figured
Close enough.
people could come in and like have a consultation about it, but yeah, either way.
I feel like if somebody
we gotta include the element of choice.
somebody
That's
just
right.
threatened me with a bunch of bug bites, I'd be like, I'm good. I'm just not gonna eat it anymore.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
promise.
yeah.
Just have a guy follow you around with the bug, like every time you see the McDonald's
Like,
on the
if you
off-ramp.
if you don't put that down, I'm gonna make this bug bite you, and then you won't want it. So,
I would accept the challenge. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and try to make me not want this. Challenge accepted.
I don't know. I think I would accept for fast food. I think I would accept a bug bite that was painful, but not one that would itch for days. Like I would get stung by a bee for a cheeseburger. I would endure that if I was hungry enough.
That sounds like a weird game
Or like, what
show.
about getting kicked in the nuts? Like every fry you order, you gotta get kicked in the nuts.
Well, that's just insane.
You know.
Every fry.
I mean, I might
No,
want
like
it.
every like
How many fries are in that
no, like
bucket?
every order of fry.
Yeah, you could be like, oh, these Rally's fries are really good. Like, I don't know if it's getting kicked in the nuts good.
Yeah, that would really amp up the quality of fast food. All these people, they don't want to get kicked in the nuts to get their fries.
Yeah, we gotta make these really good so people take it. Possibly not having kids.
Now that's a job I would demand $50 an hour for, or maybe I'd do it for free, just kicking people in the nuts. Like if you worked at like fucking Checkers and like your job was to nut kick, that wouldn't be a bad gig.
Okay.
Standing there at the end of the drive-through, and you'd be like, "Okay, step out of the car." Let
You know the
like,
drill.
checking your-
You've been here 3 times today. You know the drill.
Be
you're
great
checking their
exercise.
receipt, like the guys at Walmart, and you're like, "Oh, you have fries on here."
Yeah, they're smuggling them. It's in their shirt. Like, no, I'm clean. I'm clean.
I did get fries, but they're not for me.
Yeah, this is for my neutered dog. No nuts to kick. Leave me alone.
My favorite dog.
Well, I think we've strayed from the main idea a little bit here.
Maybe.
Anything else to add, Pat?
No, I think we covered it and then some, so I'm good.
Yeah, we kicked that idea. We kicked its ass, I guess. Okay, Josh, you ready to go with your idea?
I'm pretty sure I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Okay, so this is not a movie. This is not an. It's more of a program that I think would be beneficial if the government got its greasy little paws on, and that would be to make prostitution not just legal but borderline mandatory. Now, hear me out. Okay. So we've all had really awful, probably first few sexual encounters, not so great, right? Like my own, good God, we don't got enough time to explain why it was bad, but it was a shit show and it sucked. And here's what I'm proposing. I think that if the government had like a sexy hooker catalog that on your 18th birthday you could peruse through and for free find and select a hooker, prostitute person to fornicate with, to pop your cherry, and just, and maybe every year on your birthday you get the same thing, just in case, you don't always get it by yourself, because you know what, it's a frustrating thing to live a life where sex is so hard to come by. And I think that there's already people out there trying to sell their bodies, but they're doing it illicitly, except outside of Vegas.
So when you say it's mandatory, it's borderline mandatory to receive it, not to perform it. Like
right.
You're not making women become prostitutes.
It should be like heavily. No, I think it should be heavily suggested, like getting your driver's.
Well, it sounds like it's mandatory for the prostitute to perform, not that. Well, I mean, I guess you get it. Like it's like you're getting your draft card and your notice that you got to bang a hooker.
Well, I mean, them saying it like that sounds so awful. You gotta bang a hooker. Come on, think of what you're saying. You get to bang a hooker. There's no gotta. You know, it's I just think like
Okay.
here's the real thing. I think that they're like Elliot Rodgers, that really sad freak show guy who shot up all the girls who wouldn't have sex with him. Like that. He's gone now. He got his 18-year-old nut off, and now he's happier. Maybe less of him exists if the government gives you a hole to do with what you want on your 18th birthday.
Will the government give this to mentally disabled people too?
I think they should be top of the list.
I have a
Better,
question.
like sexual orientation, like.
Now, what if
I mean,
you're...
like there's like when because it's going to be a website, obviously, and when you're like clicking
whatever you're
your
into.
buttons, Yeah, oh yeah, dude. I think it should be like totally like not depraved, but like very very thorough. Like
Okay.
whatever you're into, and that's when you can find out what you're into, and there's no shame in saying, oh my god, I really would love to I don't know, bang a disabled midget that only roller skates around town. Like who knows what the criteria is. I just think that there's a sexual activity is associated with so much shame these days. I think that if the government stepped in and helped you get your rocks off, then maybe there would be less sexual deviancy, less rape and murder. Who knows? I'm spitballing here, but I think this is a really good idea.
Is the government gonna get mad at people that take it in their own hands before their 18th birthday, though? That's my main concern. What if you're cool like
wait,
me?
You mean like masturbation? I don't think.
No,
that,
like
That's what I thought.
what
you
about
meant.
the cool kids that get laid in high
If you
school?
lose it at 15.
And then when the government...
I mean, sure. There'll be subsects of society where they're like, yeah, no. I fucked before my government order. I didn't need that one, But I just think, man,
I didn't need my government nut.
yeah, instead of government cheese, you get government nut. Who knows, man? A lot of potential here. I just think that, instead of living your whole life in solitude and pity and regret, maybe instead of fucking no one, you could fuck Uncle Sam, or Aunt Samantha. Who knows?
No.
Well, so
Like I know, like Seth asked, would the government be mad at you if you achieved it before your 18th birthday and you got your government nut? Like, would it take like the drive to do that away? Like, feel like kids are cool in high school because they're trying to like impress people and get sex out of it. Like, we've changing like the whole we've been changing the whole like societal dynamic.
Oh, so
I like
nobody
it,
will
man.
try
I
to
like
play
it.
football and impress girls anymore. They'll all be nerds.
Because they want to. They're doing it so people will be like, oh, I'd let him have sex with me.
Right. I just think there's a lot of good that can come up with it. It definitely has the potential to completely go to shit and be detrimental to society for sure.
I think you're killing a lot of people's ambition here. There's a lot of people only looking to be talented and impressive and helpful to society in hopes that it will make someone want to touch them on the penis. And if they just know they're getting it either way, we're gonna have a lot of people just sitting around not doing shit until their free government hooker shows up.
I don't.
That's actually that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Like, so if the drive to get your genitalia caressed by a member of the sex that you so choose, if that's gone, then we got just a bunch of homebodies that are like, well, when I'm 18, I got it in the bag. Yeah, I mean, how about it's like a birthday present from the government? Like, you don't have to use it, but it's like, it's there if you want it, if you need it.
Yeah.
Well, if it's legal,
I think that, because if it's legal, I mean, you might get you might get some writers who could write like a good story about it, like Michael Chabon, if he grew up in that, like he could do something good. But like all the songs that are just about trying to get laid, like they just, nobody.
what do people
all
sing about?
robotic.
Just
It'd be like
death metal, like hate, like anger.
Yeah, high school talent shows are gonna go
Coming up, so
downhill.
I'm gonna nut. Yeah, music would take a big hit for sure. There's no more need.
So the government, they have like food stamps and welfare,
Fuck stamps. Fuck stamps.
splooge stamps. Yeah, no. But I mean, if it,
Yeah.
they didn't earmark it specifically for that, but you had welfare that you could use for that, and it was legal.
Yeah.
People who needed it
Yeah.
would use it.
That could, you, like welfare for that. Like people be like, oh, he
No,
fucks on his
that's
own.
where he
Or
comes
a
into
tax rebate.
They need to make the like the free pussy not as good as the pussy you have to work for. Like, you know, a lot of us
already won't be.
a lot of us could eat
I
government
totally-
cheese,
I
but we'd
completely
rather
be
get
like,
a
once
job
you
and
get
go
on-
buy the
once
good
you
cheese.
get on that birthday, that birthday nut, you never stop. Like you don't get off that.
Right, you're on the tit. Yeah, you're done for. Yeah. I don't know, just because like I don't know about you guys, but my first time having sex was like full of like religious shame and am I doing this right? And also this is wrong. But if like I don't know, like if like kids were like I don't know, like weaned from an early age to know this is okay, and when you're of
Yeah.
age, you will get your proper nut off. And you can live
Yeah.
a successful life. You know, there's a balance there.
They're
for
like
sure.
they're like drop trowel and think about the flag.
I sense a Josh Courtney political campaign slogan here. Campaign
fuck the kids,
platform.
That's what my slogan will be.
It might work in like there's states like Alaska that are like 70% men. You might be able to
Yeah, that's
to
a
win
problem.
office in Alaska.
Yeah, this is more of a Europe friendly idea, but we could get there.
Like if you grew up in like Alaska, so it'd be like your father would sit you down and be like, "You're turning 18, so you're gonna leave Alaska for the first time, and you're gonna get your government nut." Or they have like seaplanes dropping them off. Like feel like someone's turning 18. You need to get to this village.
Yeah, it'd be like prom day. They like get all dressed up and take pictures before and after.
Listen to the radio hits of the day.
This is little Jimmy before and after his government nut. Look at him.
Anything else to add?
I think this is a better idea the more I think about it. I think the key is waiting until you're 18 because my skepticism going in
I mean,
was like every kid I've heard of having a prostitute handed to him either turned out to be like a serial killer or Michael Jackson or something. But that was because their parents tried to do it.
Yeah.
Their crazy dad did it when they were like
But it's
13.
like if everybody had that option, sometimes like in high school, if you're interested in someone, you have to like work up the courage to express that. And then they have all the power to like reject you, and they could be mean about it. Like you're like, oh, I'm crushed because they were mean, but you'd be like, well, fuck you, I'm getting a pro in 2 years, so you know.
Right? Yeah, I don't need you. You have no power here.
Come see me when I'm 19, bitch.
Yeah. Let's talk about it the day after my birthday when I got a 364 days with no government nut. Then we'll talk.
Okay, let's move on to my idea. A little tame compared to that one. I don't believe in cooking. I don't think anybody should have to cook for themselves. I think it's a waste of time. It's a bad way to design society. So people who are like scientists and engineers, and we sort of push them to devote 40 minutes a day pissing away doing manual labor of cooking just to be healthy. I think that's a horrible way to design society. And I think it's weird how society encourages some forms of manual labor, like cooking, but not others. It doesn't quite make sense. People don't really ever think about it, though. They're just sort of indoctrinated in it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, well, why does our society encourage people to cook their own food and but like accept paying for gardeners and mechanics and stuff? They don't look down on you if you hire a mechanic, but they look down on you if you never cook and you just eat fast food and whatever.
Personal chef kind of entitlement, yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
one reason people want to cook their own food is cooking is kind of like hunting or doomsday prepping, but for women. It's like a instinctual, like historical, evolutionary thing. It makes you feel self-sufficient, like you're in control of your life, like you're not dependent on other people for your own needs. Maybe there's a little bit of that. And then I also think cooking is like a big dick contest for mothers, like to try to outdo each other. Like they do that with like breastfeeding, like in natural births. Like they try to endure pain and work in order to wave their mother dick around and show that they're better than the other mothers.
Mother dick.
Like it's a
know,
way.
Like if you have a friend over for dinner and then they're like, "Oh man, this is great. We never get this at home." Mom's just like, "Fuck yeah."
You know, you never had a mother with a real big dick, I guess.
Yeah, and the other problem, of course, with people cook because there's not healthy alternatives to cooking. So the only alternatives are like fast food, which is unhealthy, and then sit-down restaurants where you, sit-down restaurants, which
Pay
are
an arm and a leg.
Yeah, you pay more. It's still almost as unhealthy a lot of the time, and it still wastes as much time. You're just not doing the labor.
Right,
So
and you're likely paying like 3 times as much as what you would do at home. Also.
yeah,
And like most foods, aren't good raw, so it's like, fuck, I'm stuck. I gotta cook
yeah. So it's kind of like, well,
or pay somebody to do it for me.
and so I was thinking,
I like cooking.
oh, yeah. Some people like cooking. I despise it.
Well, it's to me, it's
Yeah.
like it's less of a toil and a grind because it's like, yeah, sure, you got to work hard and you got to do things that aren't like fun necessarily, but at the end, you got a big old plate of grub. You got to choke down. It's a good reward. It's unlike not
like
so much like working. It's like hey, I gotta treat myself.
But yeah, so
Like I made chili today, and I like cooked, did all the prep the night before, and then just put it in a crock pot and like let it cook all day. So like I didn't have to do shit today, and I got to eat it. Like that's pretty cool.
Right.
But yeah, so but I was thinking like fast food doesn't inherently have to be unhealthy. It's just sort of how it evolved through history. Like, and the problem is that people who are healthy, they won't eat at McDonald's because they hate it. So even if McDonald's started some kale thing or something, it would fail because the people who would eat it just ideologically hate McDonald's.
That's the thing. They hate what it represents. I mean, nobody can look you in the eye and tell you that they hate a McDonald's French fry. Because fuck off. That shit is really good, and they hate what it represents. It's like, oh, I have to sit. It's like a shame thing for them. It's like I don't want I want people to know that I went to McDonald's.
Yeah, and
those people are in the pocket of big cookbook. Like they're just.
But yeah, I think the snobbery of these people who won't eat fast food and convenient food, even if it's healthy, I think that's the real cause of obesity in America is the snobbery of those people, because they de-incentivize companies from developing healthy food. Like,
that's actually a very good point. I can't agree with you more. Yeah. Yes.
But Yeah, so society, we should, since we're in a huge obesity epidemic, we should strive to make healthy food as convenient as possible, but we're doing basically the exact opposite. We're trying to convince people to cook more and piss away more of their time cooking. Like there's a slow food movement. I saw a woman on TV. She even wants people to garden their own vegetables, and that's like the worst. If you're going to strategize on how to make the country healthier, that's like the worst possible thing you could possibly say. Like, how can you be that backwards?
Yeah, they could go out and play on that land, but they're turning it into farms.
But I came up with an idea for a type of fast food that I think can break through this weird, unhealthy societal pattern of only making convenient food unhealthy and encouraging people to go through too many hoops to get healthy food. So my idea is for a fast food chain that I call Frankenburger, and it would be for vegetarian fast food burgers and for fake, like lab-grown meat burgers. So Frankenburger is like Frankenstein, and it's because it's like lab-grown meat. A lot of people are sort of grossed out by the concept because it's not natural. And so some companies, and even like soy meat, like fake meat, they try to hide that it's not natural. And I think we should go the other way and just embrace it and have our icon be Frankenstein, the most unnatural life form
You
in
got
the
me
world.
here. I would go to a restaurant that had Frankenstein standing outside instead of Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald is much
Yeah.
scarier than Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein is cool.
somehow
I'll
less
eat his
creepy.
burger.
But I like the idea of just embracing the unnaturalness of it instead of hiding it. And I also think
Yeah,
that
like scientists made this. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this. You know how much work was put into this unnatural, bastard burger. Yeah, like let's talk about like how it's not a natural thing, and that's why it's good. Yeah.
yeah. And I like the
Yeah,
idea.
you know those scientists flavor blasted it.
Yeah, they're really good at like the Jelly Belly thing, like getting like clear liquid goo that tastes like something and just sprinkling it on things and making a jelly bean taste like popcorn or what. They're pretty good at stuff like that. I don't know why they don't do it more to give us more healthy food, but that's what Frankenburger would do. They would use science to make delicious, healthy food.
And it should be cheap.
Yeah,
That's also part of it because going hand in glove with the snobbery aspect. I think that like what if like at your most precocious restaurant or pretentious rather, like what if the prices were inverted? Like what if the worst thing for you costs the most and the healthiest thing for you was the cheapest? They could still make up their money by selling the greasy gonna kill you tomorrow burger by making it $35 for the people that really want to hurt themselves. But then making your kale, seaweed wrap, making that like $1, and then the snobs will be like, well, I mean, I made $100,000 last year. I'm not going to spend $1 at Vietro's. Oh no, and then and then they'll resort to eating what's bad for them, and then all the rich people will be fat, and all the fat people will be rich.
Yeah, be like, look at old Rockefeller over here getting a double down.
Yeah. You can afford to die early.
yeah, and that's a good idea too because the lab grown meat could still be unhealthy, like and delicious, and it would have to cost more. So that fits your model of making the unhealthy stuff cost more, and also,
Because you got to make up for it.
and I think that the combination of being healthier and having fake meat, not torturing animals and stuff, I think that's enough to maybe break through the food snobbery of, oh, I never eat fast food. I'd never eat at McDonald's.
The moral objections, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because being fat used to be a symbol of wealth. I think we should we should get back to those roots.
And so
Everyone.
yeah, and so one thing that I thought too, because I want them to embrace the that it's not natural. I also think that they should embrace that it's not quite as good as real meat. So you could have, and the way I think they should do that is they should name the burgers like how close it tastes to real meat. So like if the hamburger, is 74% as good as a normal hamburger, they would just name it Hamburger 74.
Yeah.
Which sounds like
Or like a Netflix star rating.
yeah, and then it sounds like nobody would eat the Hamburger 74, but if it's healthier, if it's got half the calories and it's pretty good and it's the same price or similar price, they might. And if as they come out with new recipes, like the Hamburger 78 is out, I have to try the Hamburger 78. So as they get better, it's a way to get people to come back in and try it as they improve. So that was an idea that I had. And eventually they could even become better. They might be able to make fake meat that's better than real meat, and it beats it in taste tests. So you can have a Hamburger 127, They could be better and eventually.
Yeah. 7 points above a real dead cow.
So yeah, and then if we're successful with Frankenburger, we could branch out to other forms of fast food like Franken Pizza and Franken Franks.
Oh, I'd eat one of those in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Franks.
But yeah, that's basically the idea is so people would go there because no suffering, no torturing of animals, factory farming, less calories. Another thing is that I used to bring soy burgers to work because you could microwave them. So it was a convenient lunch. So if you can, if these fake meat, if they last longer, you could order like a whole day's meal all at once through the fast food line. So it'd sort of blur the line between a restaurant that serves food that you're meant to eat right then to almost half of a grocery store where you could buy like a day's or multiple days of food all at once from the fast food line. So that could be another reason people would go. Frankenstein, like Seth said, is way cooler than a clown, like some of the other fast food chains have. Yeah.
I like it, man. I would go to Frankenburger.
Yeah,
I
like the
I
idea.
would spend my whole paycheck on one dinner.
Okay, well, I think we're out of time. That was Creativity Wasted. Thanks for calling in, you guys. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Mike's.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Tom.